Hey everyone, I hope you're doing all right. My name is Tania, and I am here to share my live stream, Techniques with Tania. So I'm just gonna give it a few minutes just to see if I can, everyone can see me all right and hear me all right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. So if you just let me know where you guys are tuning in from, I would love to know. It's always really nice to hear and see where everyone is tuning in from. It's really lovely to see how many international people we get. Thank you so much for letting me know that audio and video look good, Liz. I appreciate that. So I am based in the UK, and I am one of Alt News educators, and I do a lot of classes and live streams for them. The lovely Han will be in the chat to help you out, sharing any links, or if there's any questions. Han will be helping us out. So I can see there's Anne tuning in from New Zealand over on YouTube. Hello, Victoria. Good afternoon, Sue and Liz. Thank you so much. Good afternoon from Oklahoma. Rainy Connecticut here. Sue. Hey, Sue. Sharon can see me just fine in Tennessee. Hello from the Philippines. Ah, my goodness. It must be very late for you guys over there. Good afternoon from sunny San Francisco. Nancy. How is my little girl? She's doing fine. Thank you very much. She's almost 20 months old now. Oh my goodness, how time flies. And Liz from Ohio. And yeah, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. So it's 7:30 in the evening over here in the UK. And as I was saying, my name is Tania Ahmed, and I'm delighted here to be doing a live stream with you guys. And yeah, and Han is asking how was everyone's weekend, and yeah, she's not that old. No, no, she's yeah, she's 20 months old already. Would you believe that? Hello, Jamara. So nice to see you here as well. So today, my lovely people, we are here to do a different kind of live stream. We're going to be focusing and we're going to be playing with some of Altenews watercolor and artists mediums. So I have the Altenews very delicious new watercolor paint tubes. These are artist quality. Let me know in the chat if you guys have tried these. Do you have them? Are they in your wish list? Is it something that you're interested in or you're not sure? And also, I have been promising in my last few live streams to work with the metallic watercolors. I mean, guys, just look at that shimmer. Isn't that tasty? Oh, so lovely. So, guys, depending on wherever you're watching, don't forget to share today's video with your friends, and you could get a chance to win a $15 gift certificate. So, yeah, what I'm going to do is let me flip the camera around, and then we can take a closer look at these beautiful products. So I'm just going to switch my camera around, and can you guys see the lettering in the right sort of direction? See, this is very typical me. I haven't even started, and my desk is already a mess. So Nancy says you have ordered them and they're being shipped now. The watercolor tubes are on my wish list. The metallic colors I got last month. I have not played them yet. So Liz, if you wanted to, you guys, there's if you check out the Altenew Academy videos, there's a couple of classes on there. I've done one class on Metallic Watercolor 101 class on the Altenew Academy, where you can learn how to get the most out of these metallic watercolors. There's also another class by someone else on the Artists Watercolor Tubes as well. And sometimes you can keep an eye out. They go on sale, the classes. They're very, very well made, if I should say so myself. And if you're looking to try out a new medium and you're not sure where to get started, then definitely check the 101 classes out. So just a quick overview of what I have. So I've got the tubes. So there's 10 of them, just making sure I have all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 of them. They're beautiful. They're highly pigmented. They're translucent, except for the titanium white. Now, I was personally really excited about the titanium white myself. And what I am also going to be doing is showing you some basic techniques that you can easily make backgrounds with the watercolors. But I've also got some stencils as well. So this is the feathery stencil, and I've got the color block triangle stencil. So I think in the moment I am feeling like I want to use the feathery one. And I have also got the watercolor brushes as well. So this is one that I have just nicely packed away, just in packaging, to show you guys what it looks like. I like to keep all of my watercolor brushes in a bag like this for easy access. So this is just one of the sets I'm going to be using. There's 2 sets of watercolor brushes. They're very good quality. They come in all sorts of brush shapes as well. And I like that this set, the fine watercolor brush set, they have an ergonomic handle. So it's got like a triangular shaped handle. I'm not sure if you can see that in the video, but it's very, very nice to hold. So we're going to be using the brushes. There's some pretty nice round brushes in here. And I really love this one, this flat one as well. So I'm just going to put this aside, and we're also going to be working with the watercolor paper sets. I've got the large one, the 9 by 12 set here, and I've also got the 4 1/4 by 5 by 5 inch, which you can put on top of an A2 card. Now, it's really important that when you're working with watercolors, that it's important that you work with the right kind of surface. So if you're finding that your paper is buckling a lot, then you're probably not using the right kind of paper to go with watercolors. It's important to use watercolor paper, or at least some kind of really thick cardstock. And I recommend the Altenew watercolor pads as well. They're really nice sizes, and you can cut the larger size down, obviously, into a smaller size. They're really lovely to work on. So to keep it simple, I'm going to be making some postcards using the smaller watercolor paper set. And those are loose sheets, and this is like a pad that is gummed and attached at the top. Right, everyone, thank you so much for sharing in. And if you're tuning in just now, we are going to be working with the Altenew watercolor tubes and the metallic watercolors as well. So I'm just going to put my brushes here to the side here. I've got my tea here as well, my peppermint tea. I've got it strategically placed off to the side here so that I don't dip my my paintbrushes inside my tea, because how many times have I accidentally dipped my paintbrush in my tea? So I'm just going to take out a couple of papers, and I'm just going to place this here. just going to sort myself out so that you guys have a really clear view of my desk. So just going to place that here and here. And what I'm also going to do is, first of all, let me show you guys the fabulous metallic watercolors. So I'm just going to place them here so that you can see them. And I'm just going to spritz them with some water just to get them going. Just generously water them. And I'll show you guys what they look like. Now, I always say, I sound like a broken record when I say this, but whenever you get a new medium of any kind, the first thing you should always do is swatch them, because what the paints look like in the pans or on the packaging can often be very different from what it looks like when it's actually used. So for example, let me pick one color that's going to look completely different on black and on white. So I've got some thick black cardstock here. So I'm just going to do like a swipe here. So you can hardly see it there. But if you wanted to get like a really subtle shimmery pearlescent effect, then you can get that on plain white watercolor paper. But look at what happens when I put it on black. This is where the true beauty of these metallic watercolors comes out. Is like the way the colors just absolutely pop on black cardstock is just stunning. So I've got one here which is like a tealy kind of blue, very lovely, beautiful shimmery color there. But then when I put it on black, it really, really pops. Look at that. It's just, the shine has just got to be seen to be believed. It's just stunning. It's just stunning. Now, I was also really excited to see the titanium white being added in the watercolors, because I love doing mixed media and I love using different mediums or alternate mediums interchangeably, and I adore mixing things up, and having a white really is a game changer, because then you can mix the colors in and you can make them a bit more opaque as well, and you can get different tints and shades as well. So highly recommend that when you get your new mediums, then you should definitely swatch them out. What you can do is, what I have done in the past before is, you can do like a whole background. So I just do a quick one here. Just work it together while the paints are still wet. So this isn't what this black cardstock isn't watercolor paper, but that's okay. It will buckle a little bit, but I can keep it under some something heavy and get it to straighten out afterwards. But what I'm doing is I'm quickly covering this whole background, just blending some of the colors in. And you can't see on camera, but I have like at least 2 or 3 jars of paint going. I would highly recommend that you have, when you're doing watercolors, that you have a few jars of water ready for you, so that you aren't contaminating your palette too much. So I just created like a really rough blended out background, and I'm just going to blend it out a little bit more. And then what you can do is, what I absolutely adore doing, is let it dry completely, and then you can use one of Altenew's Oh, you can see it much better like this. So sorry you weren't able to see it before. But you let it dry completely. I'll set it aside, and towards the end, I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's dry. And what you can do is you can use one of Altenew's embossing folders and run it through that, and it just looks so stunning. So stunning. Just dry embossed. It's just, oh, just can you guys tell that I'm drooling, and I just absolutely adore these metallic watercolors so much. So I'm just going to set this aside to dry. And I mean, their properties are just fantastic. I love them. I absolutely love them. And when I got the watercolors, the very first thing I did was I did some florals. And I love doing florals. And I'll show you guys a really simple way of creating florals. So I just have a little piece of acetate over here. And let me put the metallic watercolors to the side. Maybe I have my camera zoomed in a bit too much, but I wanted to make sure you guys have a good, clear view. Now, these babies, you can buy the whole set, but you can also buy the tubes individually as well. So if you're looking to try them out, then what you can do is you can just maybe get like some primary colors together. So my favorite primary colors to go with are like something like this. So you've got a blue, you've got a magenta, and a yellow. And with these, just these three, you would be able to get all the colors of the rainbow. But it's a really nice thing to have the whole set to go with. I personally really love them. Like you've got three blues, and I'll swatch them out for you guys to see because they look different to what the packaging is. So let me just, this is phthalo blue. That's phthalo with PHTHALO, phthalo blue. This is Prussian blue, which I adore. And this dark cyan is just, oh my goodness, it's just got my heart. And you don't really need a lot of paint. You really don't, because these are so highly pigmented. A little paint goes a long way. What I'm going to do is I've just got a piece of kitchen towel here. Just going to make sure my paintbrush is really clean. Just and then I'm going to dip it in my other water well. Let me do the swatches on this one. So this is the dark cyan. So this is what it looks like. I'm just using like a really teeny amount and just pulling some out and using the water on my brush to just dilute it a bit. And this is what that color looks like. And then if you wanted to obviously intensify, you can add some more on. How beautiful is that? And if you obviously want to add some more, just going to make it a little bit darker, and then you can get like a blended out effect. Beautiful. Just going to clean my brush out and show you guys the phthalo blue. Do forgive me if I'm getting the pronunciations incorrectly. English isn't my first language, so I do try. So this is the phthalo blue. Look at that. Oh my goodness, isn't it gorgeous? And then I love the Prussian blue because you can get some really good tonal shades there. So literally I'm just touching the tip of my paintbrush to the watercolor. And I don't have that much paint on my paintbrush, that much water on my paintbrush, and that's something that comes with practice. So I'm just using a piece of acetate as a little palette for myself. And then you can obviously darken it up as much as you want. And I just love how there's almost no granulation to them. Oh my goodness, you guys. It's just, they are. I wish I could describe, like, get you guys. Honestly, what needs to happen? We all need to have like a get together, and we need to sit together and have a chat and talk all things crafty and why we love Alt New, because these watercolors have got to be seen and used to be believed. They are so gorgeous, and I just adore how they blend with each other as well. And if I have time, I'm going to try and do a galaxy kind of background as well. So yeah, so again, when you first get a new medium, then definitely swatch it out and just have a play, and have zero expectations of making something a masterpiece. Just have a play. I just encourage you to have a play. There you go. You can see what that looks like now. It's all dry. And what I can do is I can go over this and add more layers of the shimmers as well. How beautiful is that? So how did I do these flowers? So the very basic technique is I'm just going to grab this opera lemon, which is like a cooler kind of yellow. It's very fluorescent. And I really love that, because then you can use it to get some really unusual shades of. Is there a smaller set for the metallic watercolors in the pan set? No, Sue, the metallic watercolors are as is. I don't think that there's a smaller one. But they just, all the colors are very different. There's some bronzes and golds in there. And I just absolutely adore these watercolors. I mean, just look at those colors. And I think you guys can probably tell which ones I've used the most. Is these two, this blue and this purple. Oh my goodness. And I really love this pearlescent silver as well. So just gonna set it to the side. And so what I've got the two colors that I've just put really teeny tiny dots down are the quinacridone magenta, and this is the opera lemon. So again, just making sure my brush is really, really clean. And what I like to do is I like to prepare like a little palette here for myself. So I'm just going to create like a water down. Mix in some water. I might have a bit too much water here, but that's okay. Just going to, if you've got too much water on your paintbrush, what you can do is just take the edge of your kitchen towel and just lightly press it onto your kitchen towel like that, just the bottom part. There's a technical term for the bottom part of your brush. I'm forgetting what it's called, but you just touch it to the bottom part there, and that will get rid of some of the moisture from your brush. That's a way of, just very quickly and easily taking care of some of the excess water from your paintbrush. Okay, so how do I do these really loose watercolor flowers? So what I like to do is I start off with, I'll do like a larger version here just to show you guys how it works, and then I'll do do it there. So what you do is you put down like a C kind of shape there, a C kind of shape there, and then you can just do a few dots here and there, and then you can take another paintbrush with just clean water, and then what you do is you just make sure it doesn't have too much water on it, and then all you do is you just press it out and just encourage some of that paint to move out to the edges. And then if you wanted to add some more color to the petals, then all you do is you just dab the very bottom where you want the darkest shade to be, and you just pull the color out with the clean paintbrush. So it's nice to have two paintbrushes to work with. So I've got those two dots there, and then just again, just being really, really loose there, and just encourage it to just, the paint to just move. And it's nice to keep some spacing in between the petals, because that will give it like a little bit more of a petal-like shape rather than just a blob. So it's something that takes a bit of practice, for sure. But once you get it right, you kind of learn what kind of flower rose shapes that you like. And then I just like to give my paintbrushes just a little bit of a wiggle. Might be too near that blue, but that's okay. Just going to drop down a few more blobs there of paint, and just a little bit more water there, just to encourage it to flow a little bit more. And then you can see that I'm not sure if it's showing up on camera. It might be a bit too subtle, but you can see that you've got these loose kind of flowery kind of shapes there. Now, if you wanted to, you could pop in some of the opera lemon. I'm just going to pop it in just a few spots here and there. But what you can also do is, instead of the opera lemon, you can also use the metallic watercolors. So I'm just going to pick up some here, and then you can pop that in as well. And when it dries, it will give it a really, really stunning shimmer. So I just angle it into the camera a bit to show you guys that shimmer. There, you can see that the centers, you've got some of that gold, some of that opera lemon in there as well. And it's kind of bleeding out a bit, which is exactly what I want. So, and if you wanted to get it to flow out a bit more, then just use some clean water on a clean brush and just pull it out a little bit, by just adding in a bit more water. Now, do keep in mind that watercolors will react to any more water that you add on top as well. So there's different techniques that you can try. You can do wet on wet techniques. You can dry it to get different techniques as well. Like, for example, I'm just going to put like a layer of clean water here. And what you can do is you should be able to lift it. Much like with any kind of dye inks, like with the Altenew dye inks, that if you do like a blended background and you put some splatters of water on top, let it sit for a few seconds and the color should lift off. So let's see if that is enough to... I'll let it sit for a few more seconds. But you can see, can you see the line where some of the paint has lifted off. And then the longer I leave it on, the more of that pigment will react and lift off the page. So this is how I did those flowers. And for the leaves are again really, really simple to do as well. So I've got with the leaves I did with the phthalo green. This is just one of my favorite shades of green. It's like this gorgeous emerald kind of green. And again, I've just got this really teeny tiny dot. And you can also buy a palette from the Altenew store as well, if you wanted to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this somewhere safe, because once this dries, I can keep using this by reactivating it with water. So this is a lot of paint. And what you can do is you can get yourself like a small palette as well for travel. And then you could just put like tiny little drops of these watercolors inside your palette, and then you can take them traveling with you. Or you could just create your very own dot card as well. You could just take a watercolor paper, Altenews watercolor paper, just put down a few dots of the paint and just let it dry completely, and pop it in an envelope and take it with you for when you're traveling. And then all you would need is you can get Altenews watercolor brushes as well, the ones with the barrels that have water in them. And then you've got your very own travel sort of crafting activity to go. You can just do some stamp some flowers out. Make sure that you're using a pigment ink that won't react to water. You can use Altenews Obsidian ink. Stamp some flowers out, and then set it aside. Have some of your watercolors ready to go on a palette or on a dot chart, and then you can do some painting while sitting in front of the TV or outside in your garden while enjoying a nice cup of tea. Can you tell I'm tea obsessed? So I'm just going to, let me just clean this brush out. I've got some metallic watercolors on there. I don't want to get any of that into my... So now to do a leaf, what you do is, it's really good to do the leaves with a paintbrush that has like a pointed end. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop some water down. So do you guys have any questions? Yes, Laura, you can make those dots. You can make those dots. It's basically a dot chart. And it's basically someone just by hand just making those dots. And just make sure that they're really, really dry before you pack them away. And because these tubes are so highly pigmented, a little goes a really long way. So you can see, even though I just put like really tiny dots on there, I still have so much of that paint to go. And I'm just using water to draw out some of that pigment, just to make it as intense or as dilute as I want it to be. So to do like a flower or a leaf shape, that what you do is you start with a light touch so that you've got like a pointed end there. I'm not sure if you can see that. And then what you do is you light touch and then press and then lift. And that's your leaf shape. Seriously, it's that simple. And what I like to do with watercolors is you do drills, which means you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again till you practice. So what you do is, again, I'm going to show you how to do it again. So you press down the tip, let the tip do the work for you, press it down, and then lift. And then that automatically gives you that leaf shape. And that way you can really, really easily make like a wreath as well, which I might actually try doing here. So I'm just going to get a piece of paper and just make sure that I have a lid that matches the size of my paper. So this is just a tennis ball, uh, a tennis ball container holder thing. I actually use this for gel printing as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this opera rose and I'm going to paint the edges, and then I am just going to make a little stamp circle. So just going to press that down there, just give a little wiggle there. So I've got one circle there. That might be a bit too intense, but that's okay. Just going to add in a little bit of that phthalo green, and I'm going to do another little circular shape. And what I'm doing is I'm basically creating like a little guideline for myself for my wreath. And I'm not being precise. So I've got like a rough circular shape there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by doing some of these some leaves. So like I showed you. So I'm just going to be playing with some of the colors here. So I've got this is the dark cyan. I'm going to mix it in with some of that phthalo green to get like a really gorgeous turquoisey kind of color. Let me just test it out here just to see what it looks like. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh my goodness. Do you know what? You know you're doing the right thing when your work doesn't feel like work. I'm having so much fun right now. So let's start off with the leaves. So like I said, just lightly let the tip do the work for you, and then press it down, and with the leaf you do a stamp. So that's your first leaf there. And I'm going to mix in the colors so that it's not that the colors aren't like same, if that makes sense. Now I've got 2 leaves there, and then we do some more leaves. Might turn into like quite a Christmassy kind of card. You can use it as a card base. So we're just doing some there. Going to do another one there. Just use the brush as like a stamp of sorts. Draw a quick line there. Yeah. And the trick with this is just make sure that it's nice and dry before you move on to the next layer. So just do the tip, press it down, and then you got your leaf shape there. And you can do like 3 leaves as well. So this is one of those things that, you like trust the process. So just do a light pressure and then press and then lift. And then you can move your card around. And light. If you wanted to, you can make all your leaves in the same direction, but I feel like a bit of a rebel today. And press. Just gonna have a quick look to see if. So Liz says these tubes are on my wish list. I think they'll be coming home before Christmas. I love them. I just absolutely love them. And the colors, the set, it's just so well thought of the colors that go so well with each other. I think you guys can tell that I really, really love them. So this is one of those cases of, sorry, not sorry. So over here, I just do a third leaf as well. Now, do I want to add some more? I feel like there needs to be another one there. Now, to change things up, just to make sure that this is like completely dry, just going to take some of that phthalo blue and just add like a little bit of variation there, and then add some more leaves. So I'm still using the base paints are still the same, but I'm kind of adding in some other colors so that it kind of goes together, but it's giving me some variation as well. So I'm just going to fill in some of those gaps in a bit more. Just getting in some more of that green and that phthalo blue and that beautiful phthalo green, and just adding in some more of those leaves. And then you can see like a wreath-like shape starting to emerge. Just need a little bit more water. How much time do we have? Oh my goodness. Is that what the time is? So I'm just going to quickly finish this off. And then I'll use the stencils as well and see if we have time for a quick galaxy background. Maybe we do a galaxy background with the stencils. How does that sound, guys? So just adding it a few splotches of paint here and there where I feel like it needs it. Now, just need to make sure that this is dry. Just going to set this aside to dry and then finish this in a bit. And let me grab another watercolor cardstock paper. And we've got the stencil here. Let me move these flowers away because I don't want to ruin this background. I am going to place another piece of paper underneath because this might get a bit watery. So now the trick with this next technique is just making sure that you have just the right amount of water on your brush. Now, if you have too much water, then it can go under your stencil. And you just need to be quite quick about it. So just really, really quick strokes and not too much water on your paintbrush. It might go under it a little bit, but I think it gives a really interesting effect as well. What you could also do is you could you could use a pencil and paint it out as well. Draw it out first and then trace it afterwards. So I've got that beautiful quinacridone magenta, which I absolutely adore. And I'm not cleaning my brush too much because I want to get like a little bit of a I want those colors to blend in with each other. Again, just making sure I don't have too much water on my brush. Just really. And I'm going to keep coloring that in. And then afterwards, what you can do is you can go in and you can add in some metallics as well. I'm just going to finish adding in some more color on there first. I'm being quite quick here, but you can be as precise as you want to be. Let's see what this looks like when we lift the stencil away. You can even use like one of those sprays as well. So there you can see you've got a really easy watercolor background right there. And you can go back and you can add in some more shading as well. Now I've still got some juicy watercolor on there as well. And what you can do is you can mist this lightly and you can spray it down. Now with this, what you can do is you can go in and you can add in some more. I'm just going to add in some gold in some spots here and there. You can use the gold as shading because it's quite a thin layer of paint that I have on there. It's dried already, but if you had like a thicker layer, you can go in with the metallics and get them to blend in a bit more if the watercolors are still wet. And this can be a bit tricky to get right, just to have the right amount of paint on your brush so that it doesn't seep underneath your stencil too much. And then what you can do is you can just go in and refine some of the edges as well. Just adding in a few touches of gold here and there. What I'll do is afterwards I'll share it to my Instagram stories and then tag Gold to New, and then you guys can see some of the finished pieces afterwards. And then all you need to do is just add some stamping on there. And show you guys. Can you see the gold shimmer where I've added it to some parts here and there? And then you can go back and with a clean brush, and then you can just blend some of it out as well if you wanted to. Something like a stencil like this that has lots of open spaces is really, really good for doing techniques like this. I just want to add in just a little bit more color here and there. I'm not pressing the paintbrush down too hard, if that kind of makes sense. Because if you press the paintbrush down too hard, then the paint might seep underneath your stencil. And it's imperfect. You can be as precise as you want to be. It's imperfect, but I really love that it looks like you've painted the feather rather than used a stencil. It doesn't have to be precise. And all you need to do is just add in some stamping and add it onto your card base as well. So there's your feather stencil background. And then going back to the wreath. So to finish this one off, what we're going to do is, we're going to add some berries. So this will be like our Christmassy kind of, is it holly? Holly that has the berries, the red berries. So I'm just going to use my paintbrush and add my berries. Just 2, 3 dots. 1, 2, and 3. And then you don't have to be precise. One, 2, and 3. That really just adds the finishing touch to the wreath. Holly berries. Thanks guys. I'm glad you are enjoying this live stream. I just thought I'd try something different. Just to show you guys some of Old News' beautiful watercolors. Metallic watercolors are my favorites. But now we have these watercolor tubes as well. And they just, the pigmentation on them is just, oh my goodness, has to be seen to be believed. And then once this dries, you can go in with the fine liners and add in some more sort of shape to the wreath if you wanted to. But I think I am going to keep this as is. Do I want to add some more floating berries here and there? Just to fill it out. I think it would have looked better if I'd had all the leaves going in one direction. But I really like this as well. Just going to add one there. Let's go 2 there. And I'm going to call that finished. And then what you can do is you can, once it's dried completely, you can go in and add some more splatters as well. So there's your wreath card. And then we've got the stencil as well with the touches of the metallic feather there as well. And also another fun technique that I like to do with the watercolors is we've got 5 minutes. So I'm just going to do like a really, really quick background to show you guys. So I'm going to go in with the Quinacridone Violet. And we have the Toluidine Red. Not quite sure how that's pronounced. I'll have to look that one up. But it's just this beautiful red, gorgeous fire engine red. So let me just grab another watercolor sheet and I'll show you guys a really, really quick way to create a very easy background. So I've got a flat brush here, and I love these flat wide brushes, because then you can do some really fun techniques with them. And basically what I'm doing is I am just touching them together and just keep moving my brush back and forth, loading my brush up so that I've got like a blended ink there. And so I'm just making my very own custom kind of paint here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create like an abstract kind of background there. So just going to do like little squiggles like that. And just continue creating little squiggles like that. And you don't have to overthink this. Just make them wherever you want them. I sound... I'm channeling my inner Bob Ross here. Isn't that red beautiful, you guys? Just look at how stunning that is. And I'm not really doing that much. It's the paints that are doing all the work for me. And just press and then lift. And I'm not being precise here. I am definitely not being precise here, because once this whole thing is filled out, it will look really look like you put a lot of thought into it. And I'll get some of these squiggles to go sort of off the page, because that gives me the illusion that this is like a pattern that's continuous. And I've actually done like a whole bigger backgrounds of paintings like this, just these random squiggles. And you can just frame them, and you can custom make them to whatever color palette you want to match it your home decor. And then you can go in with a white gel pen and add some more dots and details as well, and it can be like a little zen activity. So we're just going to add some more squiggles there. Just switch this around and just quickly finish this off. And then I'll turn my camera around and say final goodbyes. Some marks there, some there, one there, and one there as well. Just because. And there, how long did that take? That didn't take very long. And you just have another background. You can just add a die cut sentiment on top, and that's done. Or you could use this as a postcard to send to someone, or you could create like a series of 3 in different colors and have them all framed together. Just really simple, quick, and easy to do. I'm afraid I ran out of time. I did want to use some sea salt flakes as well, but I was having so much fun chatting to you guys and playing with the watercolors that I lost track of time. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We made 3 watercolor backgrounds. So we did the watercolor stencils. You can see that I've used the metallics on there as well. We did this kind of abstract shapes there. And we did the wreath as well. Really, really simple to do. And I encourage you guys to just have a play and have fun. I am not a trained artist at all. And it's just things that I've learned by just testing and having a play and just enjoying myself. I wanted to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in and for following along. And I hope that you guys had a great time. Thank you so much and have a great day. Thanks, everyone. Bye.